Phases of the moon are different apparent shapes of Earth's moon as viewed from Earth's surface. So here we're looking at a cartoon sketch of the Earth and the moon and its appearance in the sky. In the center is the Earth, and on the right is a white half circle indicating this is the sunshine side of Earth, or daytime side. And on the left you see in the grayish or blackish, it is the nighttime side of Earth. Surrounding that in a circle is the orbit of the moon. And likewise, we also see half of a circle or a semicircle with white, and the other half is black, with white indicating the sun side of the moon and black indicating the nighttime side of the moon. In each of these images, we have the sun shine coming in from the right-hand side. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw in here our lovely sunshine. It's not shown in here in this diagram, so I'm just going to put our spherical sun with its sunshine rays coming out in all different directions. And since the Earth is fairly far from the sun, the rays are coming in as parallel lines. Now they're going to strike the surface of the moon, and hence you see the right side is completely white in this hemisphere, and that's the day side. Same thing with Earth. The right side of the Earth is completely white, or the day side. And so if we were standing on the Earth, let's say it's noon and we're standing on the Earth, then if we looked up in the sky, we would see the dark side of the moon, which is the side facing us. That hemisphere is completely dark, and we would see this image of a black circle in the sky, which is called a new moon. Now, as the moon orbits around the Earth, we have different shapes or apparent shapes in the sky. So about 4 days later in its orbit, if we looked up into the sky, we would see a significant portion on the left side as dark and a small portion as white. So we would see this crescent shape in the sky. We go another 4 days in the orbit, and once again, we would see a semicircle as white and the other semicircle as black, but only half the moon is facing us. So we would see what's called the first quarter phase, with the right side being lit up by the sun, and the left side is in the shadow. We can't see it. It's on the nighttime side of the moon. Since the moon is 1/4 of the way through the orbit, it's called the first quarter phase. As it continues on another 4 days or so, if we are looking now on the nighttime side of the Earth, looking up in the sky, we would see a significant portion of the moon side facing us as white, being lit by the sun, and a tiny portion as being dark or in the nighttime side. So we would see this gibbous, meaning more than half. It's growing in size. So this large whitish area with this small blackish area. And since we're still going towards full, it's called a waxing gibbous. At the full phase, 4 days later, the full moon phase, if you're on the nighttime side of the Earth and you looked up in the sky, you would see all completely white, and hence this is the view that you would see, just all of the daytime side of the moon facing the Earth while you're on the nighttime side. This is called the full moon phase. And then as we're going through the latter half of the orbit of the moon around the Earth, we will see the shape of the moon in the sky getting smaller. Since it's getting smaller, we would call it waning. And when we see a significant portion being lit up compared to the other portion, we call it a gibbous. Whereas in the other case, where we just see a small portion being lit up and a larger portion in the nighttime side, that would be a waning crescent. If the moon is 3/4 of the way through the orbit, it's called the last quarter phase or third quarter, either last quarter or third quarter phase. And then finally, we return back to our new moon phase. Each of these apparent shapes in the sky of the moon as the moon orbits around the Earth in about 1 Earth month, we have these different shapes which are called phases of the moon.